rise for a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get a roll call attendance, please.
Mr. Maragascar?
Here.
Mr. Pecci, absent. Mr. Saru?
Here.
Mr. Furner?
Here.
Mr. Baldati?
Here.
Mr. Flower?
Here. Okay. Obviously, everybody's, the board members have received the minutes from the April 15th meeting from the secretary. Get a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Did anybody get a chance to read the minutes that went out just a couple of hours ago? If not, we'll put that off to the next meeting. All right. The first item on the agenda this evening is the Zamiello two-lot subdivision. Need a motion to reopen the adjourned public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
We were before the board 2 weeks ago for a public hearing. I don't think anybody showed up at that one, but the one before that we had the adjourned, some people had showed up regarding some issues regarding drainage and so forth. So what we're working on is to try and, without going with a full stormwater pollution prevention plan, address some of the drainage issues and kind of comprise that as part of our sediment and erosion control plan. So we're working on that. We were hoping we would have it ready for tonight, but we don't. We didn't make a submittal for this meeting. What we would be looking for is a little more time to get that completed, effectively just bumping us to the 3rd. I don't believe there's anybody here tonight for the meeting,
Yeah.
but that's what we'd be looking for.
Okay. All right, so at this time,
Bruce, if I may,
yeah,
if we were to close the hearing tonight, you'd have a deadline to meet, right? 60, David, how many?
62 days.
62 days. I think you'd have this, I mean, if you could have this stuff in. I mean, I know we've been working with you on it, just,
No, I plan on having it on Wednesday.
and
That's,
I'm
you know,
convinced, you know, it's gonna be addressed, but
Yeah, no, if we
I
can.
don't know how you feel about it,
yeah.
whether you wanna leave it open or close it.
Yeah, but what's the status also with the Dutchess County Department of Public Works? Have you received any confirmations from them?
Submitted, and we were supposed to have something
There
this
you
week
go.
from them
Yeah.
already. So,
David's got a good plan.
We could split the difference and leave the public hearing open since there isn't the risk of too many people coming, and prepare a resolution for that meeting.
Yeah.
We don't have the deadline issue.
Yeah, I mean, we could put it off to the
3rd?
3rd. You think that'd be enough time to get everything put
Yeah,
together?
we're almost there, so.
Okay. All right, so if we adjourn it to the 3rd, you should be able to have everything in place, and then it's up to the board too, if whether or not we have the planner draft a resolution, you know, in preparation, approving the subdivision. So I guess at this point, the first thing we need to do is get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to June the 3rd.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion's made. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have a motion to have the planner draft a resolution for the final approval for the
Preliminary.
preliminary approval for the subdivision?
Preliminary and final.
I'll make that,
Grand final?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion's made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carries.
Great, that'll save some time. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll see you on the 3rd.
On the 3rd.
Yep.
Thanks, folks.
Okay, our next item is a discussion regarding Sunup Properties LLC for lot line realignment.
I got the big one, but I also brought the small ones. I threw a little color on them because you and I had to kind of figure out what we were doing. I'm going to help him Ernie Mark now. He's away today. But I figured I'd throw a little bit of color on this. Thank you. So you have an idea of what's going on out here. I don't know if you guys want me to put the big board up, but
But it's probably, we don't have an easel here, do we?
you know what, I got one. I can't read it from 3 feet away, I don't know if you can.
Is, yeah, because we are being televised, I guess if everybody wants to,
Oh, then we have to make it official.
they can zoom in, they can see what we're all talking about.
All right. Where should I put it? Back corner.
And there's a microphone for you. If you're going to talk over here, there's a mic right there for you.
Well, we should make it official. Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Don't drop the mic.
Don't drop the mic. All right, Brian Stacosa from Day Engineering. Here representing the project for Mr. Barton, he's away. This property has existed for a number of years. It fronts on St. Nicholas Road, New Hackensack Road. We have a couple commercial buildings in the front, and obviously this has been used for soil stockpile for a number of years. And what the applicant would like to do, he's here tonight, he would like to realign a couple of lot lines so that we combine a couple of pieces, and we also have the two commercial buildings on two separate pieces. We do agree that there are some drainage pipes that cross property lines and some access points that cross property lines, and we will be providing easements to show that, both cross easements, drainage easements and whatnot. Ernie and I met on that. It's not a big deal. We'll put that together in our next submission. But as far as what the applicant wants to do, obviously he wants to keep the commercial buildings. What he'd like to do is, currently we have this material stockpile area crossing both property lines. What he's going to do is eventually pull this use that we're doing here and pull it over into this piece right here, try to contain it, confine it. Eventually, if somebody wants to pick this up to continue doing a stockpile operation, that would be the intent of that. But for right now, just kind of realigning some lines and defining these two commercial pieces to be standalone. And what I did is I tried to show that. I tried to show that on this 8.5 by 11 that I gave you. So one piece would be the orange piece, which is parcel B, 0.64 acres, parcel C, which will contain the larger building and parking area, 1.37. And then you see we have the two larger pieces, the blue and the pink, that would contain, currently contain the stockpile and material operation. That's it in a nutshell. Access points to remain the same. Comments brought up by the town planner, town engineer are straightforward. We'll be providing them with whatever information they need, but.
With respect to the easements, it seems to me it'd be real tedious to do discrete easements along each one of these paths, if you will, or whatever you want to call them.
Well, those paths, Bob, are not gonna be permanent.
Right.
Right.
But for the time being, while they are,
Right.
I think if it's just handled as a blanket easement, Jim, rather than put meets and bounds easements around each one of those.
Well,
pathways.
I guess the one question becomes, if the intention is to sell it, I don't think you necessarily, so long as they're in common ownership currently, I don't think you need cross easements. If you're gonna sell them, then,
If they're blanket easements, I'm not sure. If I
Yeah.
was buying a piece of property, I would want someone to be
Yeah.
able to, well,
It's up to the buyer,
anywhere.
but, you know, they would be extinguished once this is over with, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
And the deeds can
right,
be
I mean,
changed.
right now, they're in common ownership, and there's no cross
I
easement,
don't know,
so.
whatever you want.
So, I mean, so the only, I mean, just in reviewing the map, just a couple of points. It looks like that really the only access issue is up here on parcel A to get around the pond, you know, and the corner of that one lot. This one right now has,
Looks like both of those big lots both have access
Yeah,
off
I mean-
of Hackensack Road.
so, on the corner of that orange lot, I mean, that's the one
Right.
that would be an issue as far as, you know, maybe needing an easement, and that's probably not going to change because you know, the access to the back of parcel A is going to have to be between the corner and the edge of the pond. So, but it looks like, you know, you're cutting across the back corner there. So, as now,
Well, that-
you know, I don't know if,
Does that have 2 points of access right now? Are both needed?
We both use them, correct?
Well, the one furthest to the west is more modern, updated
okay.
access. The one next to the orange, I'm assuming, Brian Orange lot, right?
Orange lot, correct.
Yeah, next to the orange lot, that's been existing for years.
I mean, I guess,
I'm just wondering, you know, we like to try to minimize access on main roads when we can.
Right, well, that's also part of the access for the orange lot. But
yeah, I mean, this is asphalt, so.
Okay.
I mean, the one question is, I wonder if you just change that lot line.
We discussed it, when we met.
Yeah.
If it makes it easier, just to kick that line over a
You know,
little bit.
kick it further
Yeah.
west to put that whole driveway onto that lot.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Right.
If that makes it easier, which it does.
You know, and I guess if you get, I mean, the one thing I think we'd probably like to see is a dimension from the edge of the pond to that corner.
Yeah. That's easy.
And then, well, that would be in a buffer area too, right?
Right. The access from the easterly small lot off of the asphalt drive, is that needed?
I'm not really understanding.
I think that's just a travel path right now that the trucks use. Eventually, when the operation moves from parcel D to parcel A, that would go away.
Okay. I'm referring, Bucky, to, there's an asphalt drive. If you go a little bit to the east, to the east, to the east. No, the other way. At the end of the asphalt parking area,
That doesn't have to be there. That's just, I really don't know why you already put that on there, but that's it.
so you could show that as being removed.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're talking
That'll
about.
clean things up a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Any other questions, then, I guess we're going
Now, there's just some homework to do.
Okay, so more or less trying to straighten out the property line where it crosses over the driveway on Lot A. And then removing the access from the parking lot onto the Lot D.
Removing that, yes.
And then I guess the only easement we're looking at is the easement for the pipe coming from the 48-inch pipe going from the stormwater pond to the larger pond.
And then there's another one downstream, there's two pipes. right?
There's two pipes.
Yeah,
Well, the one downstream, isn't that all of them?
but it crosses lots. I think
That should only be on one lot.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, see, the property line's here, so that all is on that line.
see, isn't this the new line?
No, that's the old line.
Yeah.
The new line comes,
That's this line right here.
right, but the new line comes out here. See, it encompasses all this.
So say Lot A is going to be sold separately from Lot D. Do we really need access between the two lots in the back?
And this is all.
If they continue the operation that they're doing and they're under common ownership, I don't,
Well, if they're in common ownership, there's no need for an
There's no need
easement,
for
but if
easement.
they're
But if
sold
they're sold
separately,
The way they're gonna look at
are they gonna, they each have their own access. Is there a need to,
Well, if the applicant is selling it as a separate parcel,
right,
and when he sells the property, at that point, that would sever the connection.
Right.
Because-
well,
So there wouldn't be a need for the easement, because if he sells one and he retains one, then he's obviously not gonna want to allow his new neighbor to, to come on the property as they wish.
so I'm thinking that you probably don't need easements for the, between A and D in the back.
The question is regarding access easements across A and D, where you have your material operation currently.
Right.
Do you intend to sell those as a package or individually?
It all depends if somebody wants to buy one or two.
How do you want to proceed? Do you want to, at this point, give access to one another, or once they're subdivided, they're each standalone?
They can stand alone.
Yeah, because if you sold them together to somebody, you wouldn't need an access easement. If you sell them separately, they're not gonna want access easements.
I just wanted to make sure he was clear.
Because before, Brian, you were saying that you'd provide easements, which are not really necessary.
Right, so we'll handle with the drainage easement that Bob talked about.
I just see it, and grading would be necessary.
I mean, that being said, the applicant would like to take this to obviously the next level. I think what we discussed tonight, the movement of Lot B's rear line to have the driveway entirely on parcel A, the removal of the access from parcel C to parcel D, we can remove that, we talked about. And that being said, that's a minor revision, I think, that we can submit to the board. Is there the ability to take this to the next level tonight?
Yeah. You okay, Bob, with everything?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is parcel C, does that have to come to a point? That's usually a mistake, doing that. See how it comes to a point?
It won't come to a point anymore.
Yeah.
It does now,
Bob, look at the,
It's being eliminated.
look at the color.
His crayon.
Okay, fine, doesn't come to a point, good. That's what I was telling you, this map, it's hard to follow. It was hard for me
if
to
it
follow.
wasn't for that existing point, I probably wouldn't be here.
It was hard for what you would tell us.
This was definitely a plan where you needed magic markers.
Yeah.
Well, that was, my letter was basically,
So if you submit another plan like this, submit magic markers with each plan.
Magic marker. Well, we're gonna just do like an existing and a proposed, make it a little bit easier.
And then, I think if you put a label on the lines to be removed,
Right.
yeah.
Existing and
existing line to be removed, right?
new lot line.
But to answer your question, I think you ought to have a public hearing. That's what you asked me, right?
That's not up to me, it's up to the entire
Well, you
board.
asked me, though. I think.
That's what I said, felt, as long as you're comfortable and there's no other outstanding,
And I said it in my letter,
okay, all right.
I mean,
which came yesterday.
the other issue, David and I spoke before the meeting, under the new seeker regulations, lot line adjustments are now type 2 actions. So this would be a type 2 action under seeker. So it does not require seeker review under the 2019 amendments.
And the applicant was respectfully asking for a waiver of a public hearing.
Is there any residents around that property that, besides, it's all commercial, right?
I think there's residential behind there.
Yeah, the rear line along St. Nicholas Road, the entire back section, if you follow the blue line that leads into the pink line, is the zoning line.
So I guess the other question we had with respect to that parcel D, is parcel D changing or does that remain the same?
No.
Parcel D is remaining the same.
Okay.
Yeah, these do back up to,
So if that's the case, then those people in the back are not abutting the properties that were subject to the,
Yeah, parcel D technically doesn't even need to be on the plan.
no, I think we,
but the other parcels behind it though were residential, I believe. And that
I'm
would be,
looking up now. Common lot line.
yeah, so the abutting property would be the Incravia property in the back.
so, what's the
Actually, I
board's
think-
feeling on waiving the public hearing?
Well, we're checking to see if that's allowed.
Want to see exactly what this,
Is it allowed, or?
That's what he's checking.
I think, isn't that one of the amendments we were talking about?
no, there is something that talks about a common lot line. Oh, it's in the subdivision no, I think it's in the subdivision regulation.
Should be.
I'm in the zoning. Okay. Planning board may waive the public hearing for an application that consists solely of the realignment of a common lot line between two adjacent lots.
Between two adjacent lots.
A common lot line between two adjacent lots.
And we're talking about 5 lots here.
Right, I think this is a little different.
So I don't think we have the ability to,
I had to ask.
And it shouldn't slow things down. No. Because if you wanted a resolution for the meeting when we have the public hearing, it certainly wouldn't slow things down. And it would only be a draft. You wouldn't have to adopt it that
Right.
night necessarily.
all right. Well, we should probably have the public hearing.
Sounds like we don't have an option.
Now, the next question comes in, of when would be the next available date? So I'm not sure, the 17th of June?
I think the 17th, right, yeah.
Okay. And then that would also give you enough time to clean up the map and
Yeah.
take care of everything we need to do prior to that,
Actually,
that meeting.
it would be great if he takes this lot out, because then we're gonna know
17th,
these lots.
looks like a good date. Get a motion to schedule a public hearing.
So,
Maybe take it off, right?
If you take it off,
if you take it off, there's like 7 abutting properties on the northeast,
I'm all in favor of making it easier,
so,
right? Okay.
so
Okay.
D's not
So,
changing.
all right. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
So you can leave it on the map and just say other lands of,
Right. Just take it off. Take it out of the application. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, and
would you like a draft
yeah, we could,
resolution?
well, what is everybody's feeling? Go ahead and have the planner draft a resolution? Motion to have the planner draft a resolution for
Motion made.
May, second,
I'll second that.
all in favor? Okay, motion carries.
wanna look pulling these up one hand.
All right, so see you on the 17th.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman? Hello, Mr. Chairman? I think he has enough time to resubmit, and we could pare our comments down, so the resolution won't be so long.
Okay. Well, if he gets the submission in prior to that meeting, you could review it.
Yeah, I mean,
just
it's
to-
almost a month out.
Yeah,
Let's put the heat on Ernie.
Good luck. Have Bucky put the heat on. It'll work. All right. It'll work better. All right, guys. You got a bigger blow
Good night.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
okay. Our next item on the agenda is architectural review. The mobile station at 349 Route 82. IP retrofit.
We've got a tripod on the way. We've ordered one tonight.
So this is for the canopy retrofit. We've done the lighting plan, I believe you have that in front of you now. That has the foot candles listed on it. So we provided a lighting plan. We've toned down the lighting requirements that Red Leonard, our lighting contractor, typically doesn't like the lighting to be as low it is, so we tone it down even more.
Okay, so he's gonna tone it down more than what's on the plan currently?
What they like to do, so typically they like to have 30-foot candles under the canopy. What we're asking for 20-foot candles because of the
How much
nature
do
of
they
the
ask
site.
for again?
Around 30-foot
Oh,
candles
so
within the
could you-
canopy.
Just state your name for the record.
Oh, Tom Kivett from CPD Energy.
Okay, thank you.
So we have the lighting plan and the layout for the entire site, which includes some more information and photometrics as it's concerned with the canopy feature. The last meeting, issue was with the illuminated fascia. From what I understand, there was a problem with it being reflecting too bright at night. So this, from what we understand from our lighting consultant, is that none of those foot candles from that fascia will reach the ground, even though you will be able to see them.
From which one is this now? This is from the LED from the halo?
Right.
Around the top?
Right. So this is the illuminated fascia that wraps the entire structure up there.
Can you see that from a distance? That's my issue.
Yes. So we have a site on Route 9 headed south. It has a car wash attached to it. It's before you hit 84. And that's
Fishkill.
in Fishkill. That's correct.
Yeah.
So that's one of the sites that we do have. You can change the LED lights to have different strengths. So we didn't have that information on this plan. It was mostly concerned with the site lighting. Well, right now, what we're mostly concerned with is getting the canopy retrofit started. The lighting can be added later, or it could be left off completely. The blue fascia will still remain. It just won't be lit. If at another date, if you want more information regarding the LED lighting strip, then we could provide that as well.
Okay.
Are you adding lamp posts on that property as well?
They're existing lamp posts.
Pre-existing, are you changing the lighting in that to be brighter?
They're existing LED lights, so we don't want to change those
So
as
that's
well.
all staying the same?
Correct.
So, okay, so the question we had, just, because we were reviewing this part of the meeting a little bit, and one of the questions we had was the lights underneath the canopy.
Right,
Currently, it's shown as 600 watts.
right.
And I'm assuming that's for each fixture.
I don't know the answer to that. Is that for each fixture? 600 watts per fixture?
In case they need to do some surgery under there. These are awful drawings.
Okay.
I mean, it's a
Yes, just,
took a screenshot.
we have to move the,
You would think you could
yeah,
have done
over
it.
just to the side, so the camera can, or at least turn it in a way that the camera can pick it up. Okay, I've been told in the near future, there's gonna be some monitors put into the meeting room here. So in the future, you could bring your,
You can tape stuff
you
on.
could bring your presentation on a flash drive. and
All right.
we can display it on the monitor. So, unfortunately, it's not helping us tonight. It looks good. It's more for the camera to pick up, so the camera can see it. Okay. So basically, going back to our discussion earlier, it is the 600 watts per fixture. On the photometric plan that was provided, it shows more than the half a foot candle leaving the property,
All right,
as per the zoning code.
okay.
You know, our question was, is there a way to dim the lights that are under there?
We could change it to a lower intensity lighting.
To
So we,
what?
to whatever it needs. We go back to our consultant to get the half-foot candle requirement. We tend not to like to dim the lights. We'll just go with that straighter, lower intensity lighting that we can get to achieve that. And again, we're going lower than what they like to provide for their clients based on their experience.
I mean, it's just, you know, there is, you know, some of the board members did have concerns with, you know, with the lighting spilling, you know,
Right.
out into the road is one thing, and then you do have the residential properties nearby.
Right.
You know, if it was, you know, in a location on Route 9 in the middle of a, you know, the commercial corridor, you know, you could say, all right, that might be acceptable.
Right.
But it's, you know, more concerned over the, you know, the residential properties nearby and it just being too bright.
Right.
And obviously, these lights get shut off at night when the station closes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And the station closes at what time?
I'm not sure of that. Is it
Midnight.
midnight?
Midnight? Is there any chance of it ever being 24 hours?
I don't believe, we don't have any plans for that right now, just the canopy is on our radar.
And if I may, usually the time depends on what town allows to happen. So if the town says it's got to be closed at 1, at 3, at 4, at 12, that's what we do. But of course, we do it for long time off.
Yeah, step up to the, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Don't drop
Yes, if I may repeat that, the time is, the length of time we leave the store open depends on what the town allows. So if it says 12 o'clock, we got to close at 12 o'clock. That's how we operate.
Okay.
So you just want tonight just to get the canopy erected?
Right, to get that process started.
Obviously, you need to add some form of lighting to it.
Right. Well, the facial lighting is an accessory. It doesn't need, it's not holding the fascia up in any means. It's an add-on, you know, just for visuals. But there's more
You
to
don't have to
the,
decide on that tonight.
right,
You just want to put some lights underneath to illuminate the pump.
correct, and replace the outdated structure
You're
that's
going to
there.
reduce that to,
Say
what
again?
size, what kind of, what bulbs are you going to put in here? So you got 600, what are you recommending now?
Well, I'm not the lighting consultant. We can go back to the lighting consultant and have them,
Do we need to know that tonight, though?
Well, we can approve the canopy tonight.
How's it going?
Well, the lighting, it's gonna be, well, what's the schedule for the construction?
Well, it's up to the approval process. If you allow us to go ahead, so we'll go ahead because we've tried, to get it done as soon as possible. However, as Thomas said, we can ask our consultant to lower, the level of light that shines from the, and as we can see here, if, I drove there once and actually more than once, and I saw the distance of the residences that are around us. They are, not too close. However, if the town, again, said you need to have that amount of light there, that's what we're going to have to do. So we don't make things any difficult than it needs to be. It's like we just follow what is, required. But we like to get it started as soon as possible.
I mean, if we approve the canopy tonight, and then in the interim, you could contact the consultant about possibly lowering some of these values, the lighting. Is it something that you could get back to us pretty quickly for possibly the next meeting?
Today is Monday. What is the next meeting, please?
June 3rd.
June 3rd?
June 3rd?
June 3rd. So that would give you,
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get that done. But if I may interject something about the level of light. The consultants, when they do look at the site, the height of the canopy and all those things, they recommend what is the level of light that is needed for people when they walk in, they feel safe to see and to make transaction, etc. So this factored in when they do give us, what is the photometric that works for that, for a site. So,
all right. We do understand, I mean, we've gotten, in the past, we've gotten letters from Dutchess County that's given us guidelines for lighting. You know, acceptable levels for secure areas. A gas station is probably, you know, of a lower level, whereas like a bank and an ATM machine, you know, the lighting around there would be required to be a lot more, you know, for security reasons. You know, the levels that are on here, I don't know if they quite, you know, if they, I'm assuming they exceed the amount of light needed for, you know, for a gas station, you know, or some type of, you know, based upon their guidelines.
If I may disagree with you respectfully, we look at other sites around us, they are way higher. Now, not that we are trying to match them. We're looking at, okay, we purposely ask the consultant to look at it and then give us what is required, what is good to make sure, you know, the lighting is good, and they do that. Now, if, of course, again, if we are asked to lower it, we'll lower it. But if we're looking at that level right now, we went back and forth with them, so we can make it to the point and say, okay, that's what we have to do now because it's good enough. We don't want it to be too bright because, of course, the surroundings, but it's not too high. It's not.
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On the lighting plan, there's three luminaires which are closest to Route 82.
Route 82, correct,
So, you know, I think those are the ones they should probably focus on.
yeah.
Those are very bright right there.
Well, it's not, they're all the same brightness. It's just that those are the ones closest to the property line. So to the extent that you look at those three up front.
Talking about these?
No, on the canopy.
Underneath the
On the
canopy.
canopy, those?
Those three, you know, the other ones are inside the canopy, so they probably, you know, don't project as far, but those appear to be fairly close to the edge of the canopy. And that's the one, those are the ones that'll probably bleed off the most.
But again, this basically reflects what's going to happen. That's basically what they do, a 3D, showing in color and so on and so forth to show. If you were to turn the lights on in that environment, this is what it's going to show.
Unfortunately, that doesn't show the property lines.
Say it again?
Unfortunately, that does not show the property lines.
Yes, I agree with that. But basically, looking at this here, it is a poverty line showing here, right here. Okay, and again, those are the, let's see where we're at here. Okay, that's the station right there. So, I mean, this is the entrance, but that's 82, I believe. All right, that's 82, and this is the station, I mean, the building is here. And if you look at right there, and, you know, it's here again, it's, you know, if you hit the curb, it doesn't hit the curb as hard as you know, may sound.
Right.
But again, we'll,
I'm just referencing the,
sure,
you know, the spot numbers that were given.
yes.
Those spot numbers are showing, you know, in excess of the allowed value.
Okay,
That's what we're bringing up,
all right.
okay? So if, for now, if we go ahead, we approve the canopy, at least you can get that portion going, and then come back, you know, or at least get us something submitted for the next meeting for the lighting, you know, showing maybe a little more, you know, toned down version.
Can we say how much we need to put it, so we don't ask the consultant to do something and you have to go back?
If we can get closer to what the zoning code requires, or the other option is a dimmable, if there's some type of dimmable lighting that can be put up, and then that would be then left in the resolution, you know, or we would approve it, that the zoning administrator then can, you know, evaluate and then have you adjust it as needed to conform with the requirements. That's the other option.
Okay, I'll talk to the consultant and see what we can come up with, but as far as lower end, yes, we can ask them
Right.
to do that.
I think the the dimmable lighting might work better, because then you could, if it goes in and it's fine, it's fine. If it goes in, it's too bright, and, you know, everybody across the street complains, you could always go in the back room and turn it down a little bit and get it to the
Yes, I agree.
right level.
I agree. However, by experience, at least not for what I've seen myself, but my superior told me, they have done that for some sites, and then there is always a complaint. It's always too high, always too high. Somebody always complains it's too high. Rather, I mean, even though they lower it, and then somebody comes, it's always too high. So I think if we go, I understand and I appreciate your input in that, but if we probably get a set
Just
level,
To get a set level.
and then
Why don't we just go by the code? What does the code say for that candle power on that particular structure?
And that's, yeah, and then you can go back to the consultant. And if if the consultant gives you something that's in line with what the code requires,
okay,
then we'd have no issue with approving it,
okay.
okay? So if you can get that to us, I mean, we'll take a vote now with the members, but, to go ahead with the canopy construction, because everybody's, seen those, what's there, the canopy construction with the, mobile signage that's gonna go on it.
Yes.
I'll put it out for a vote, and if
That is-
everybody's,
That is the blue stripe.
wants to
and
make a
the light
motion
and
to
everything.
just approve the canopy as presented.
I'll make the motion for the canopy to be erected, but we're gonna review the lighting in 2 weeks from today.
Oh,
Okay?
may I ask a question? Is it
Yeah.
too late?
Go ahead.
Are we talking about the light under the canopy or the LED?
They were talking
surrounding?
both right
Talking
now.
both.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Marinaccio has made the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that motion carries. So you're all set to go ahead with the construction
Sure.
of the canopy itself with the, the mobile signage on it. But the lighting, all the lighting, we'll see you back here in June, or at least have something for that June meeting that we can vote on to approve the lighting.
Okay,
Is that fair?
sure, thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, you're welcome.
Well, can you have a copy of the code that directly address the lighting, so we know exactly what to provide?
Oh, I can have the planner can,
The only thing we have in the code regarding this is that the lighting can't exceed a half-a-foot candle at the property lines.
Okay,
And at the front property line, it's in excess of that right now.
On 82.
okay.
It's the ones on the edges that are getting the most splash.
That's it, yeah. Thank you for the check.
All right,
okay, all right.
thank you very much, Mr. Gray.
Okay, so with that being the last item on the agenda this evening, need a motion to,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Are we treating this as
Okay.
architectural review?
We're done.